Many couples don't know how to communicate a complaint to their partner. They don't know how to present or talk about something that they don't agree with, something that's not pleasing them, a problem, a serious problem that is turning into an even bigger problem. Most people, most couples don't know how to communicate a complaint, and they don't know how to listen to a complaint without reacting in the wrong way. When we look at things in a general way, of course, there are exceptions, but generally, the problem of men that many men don't know how to do, they don't know how to communicate a complaint to their wife when they're not happy about something. Normally, it's because the husband is afraid of his wife's reaction. He's afraid because he thinks if he says something that she doesn't like about the house, about her attitude, about her appearance, about anything, money, he is afraid that she will create a big drama or start to exaggerate the problem. That he'll start off speaking about something like money, and they will end up talking about the mother-in-law because she will add things on top. Generally speaking, we have noticed this, and this happens a lot with both men and women. The husband is afraid to approach a subject because of the possible reaction of his wife. So he thinks to himself that it's better to just agree and put up with certain things. I'll just leave things be as it might get easier. Who knows? Maybe with time, things will change. So he doesn't communicate his complaint and he just puts up with it. And when he can't take it anymore, he avoids being close to her and being in the house. He starts to distance himself, and this is a man's fault. This difficulty in communicating an issue to his wife. And the wife, in turn, not knowing how to communicate a complaint to her husband in an effective way, as opposed to a man who's afraid to speak, a woman doesn't have a problem to speak. Generally, she talks. When she has a complaint, she speaks. If her mistake sometimes is taking too long to talk, then when she speaks things already over the limit, or when she speaks in a way that disrespects the husband, that irritates him, that affronts, that makes him feel attacked, and that complaint turns into an argument. So he hears the way she's speaking, gets irritated, shrugs it off, and prefers to leave her talking by herself. In other words, he runs away from the conversation because he thinks she's exaggerating. It's nothing like she's saying. She's complaining when she should be grateful. You're complaining about nothing. You're making things up. He disregards his wife's complaint and does not take it seriously because sometimes she doesn't know how to communicate her complaint to her husband in an effective way. So you see here, two people with faults in communication and not resolving anything. So the complaint remains, the problem remains. And while they are not resolving the problem that is between them, so this grows and they get to the point where one of them says, no more. Or they take a drastic attitude because of this problem that hasn't been resolved. A problem that was small has turned into something much worse because of a wrong attitude. Because of the complaint that wasn't resolved. Are you following me? Yes or no? Everything starts because people don't have much of an ability to communicate a problem in a rational, respectful, and effective way to resolve it. The problem that could have been resolved in a simple way with a simple conversation drags on for years, deteriorates, and ruins the relationship.
Yeah, and the reaction too, right? The communication, because it's like you said about women. Women have difficulty of receiving criticism. Men too, but in the case, men many times they don't say things that they don't like because they know how she's going to react, how a woman's going to react. A woman is too emotional sometimes. And I'm speaking to you, woman. Wouldn't you like to know if there is something that he's not liking? Wouldn't you like to be able to know about it and solve it and fix it before it's too late? We have to be strong. We need to have this ability to hear truths that hurt. We need to have this ability. We need to have this humility, because if we take everything too personal, to the emotional side of how that criticism, of how that complaint makes us feel. So, he speaks in a certain way that you feel like you're attacked, and then you start to use that against him, meaning you're not resolving the problem. We're not speaking here just with women, but I'm speaking to you, women, because I know that, for example, if Renato says, "Look, I think that this clothes is a bit too tight on you," I'm going to think that he's saying that I'm fat. It's like this. If he doesn't say anything about how I'm beautiful, about the haircut, if it was good, then I'm thinking, could it be that perhaps he found it ugly? Meaning, women, she over exaggerates, and that it affects this communication, because you want your husband to have that freedom to be able to speak. You want to have that intimacy. You want to be one. So there has to be that opening, that that feeling of feeling free to speak to you about something that's not pleasing me, and for you not to feel bad about it, but to hear me and do something about it. So I don't want tomorrow for Renato, after years and years of being married, that says, "Oh, it's because you were always like this." And then he's going to say, I didn't know you thought this about me." But this has happened in many marriages, because one can't speak. If they start to speak a little bit, then they start arguing. Meaning, we, you're tired of hearing this. Everyone says, "Oh, the communication is what is important in among marriages." But there is a reality that day to day is this. It's not communication just about saying good things. It's also, the communication about saying bad things, things that are painful. And for you to have the ability, the strength, the courage to hear, take a deep breath and say, "You know what? I'm going to fix this. I'm going to change
The
this."
courage to speak truths that hurt are not with the intention to hurt the other person. It's not to intentionally hurt the person, to curse, to say you're this, you're that. This isn't what we're saying. It's to speak about a real situation that's going on, a fact that the other person is not going to like to hear it.
It's a defect, because what we're saying is, for example, I'm going to give an example of ours. One day, Renato came to me and said, "I don't like the way that you talk to me." So, nobody likes to hear that. No one likes to hear that you are rude in the way that you speak. So, in that moment, when you hear a truth like that about yourself, your reaction is going to give him the freedom or not to speak more, to be able to tomorrow speak. Maybe on that day, perhaps he said something and you got super upset. You were angry and you never again spoke to him. you think he's going to say it again. You think he's going to speak again, or if he has other complaints, some things that bother him, you think that he's going to speak? He's not. So he closes himself. Then she's like, "Oh, speak to me. What's wrong? Speak. I know that there's something bothering you." But he knows how you're going to react. He's afraid. So he prefers to not speak. But then the problem remains there, and that problem is not leaving. That problem, it's between both of you. It's affecting you. And the worst, you know what happens? There at work, there's a woman that doesn't do that. There at work, there's a woman that doesn't do that you're doing, doesn't speak to him the way that you do. And then meaning he goes home, there's the woman, upset, everything that he doesn't like, but he doesn't say anything. He goes to work and there's the other woman, all nice and pleasant, admires him, respects him, meaning there's an opening there. It's not her fault if he betrays her, but it's an opening that she left. He's going to be tempted. So I see that many marriages that end up splitting in the future, there were many things that was never spoken about. And when they tried to speak, there wasn't a good reaction. So in case, many times the husband is aggressive. So the woman wants to speak, but she's afraid because he's aggressive, because he screams at her. Right away, he screams and leaves, goes to his mother's house. So sometimes she doesn't speak, but there it goes again, between both of them. So we need to have humility, because if we want to make the marriage work, we need to have to be open with each other.
To have an open and free channel to express what is bad, what is wrong in the relationship, that is not to your liking, that is bothering you a lot. Not nonsense. Something that bothers you a lot and that is harming your marriage. You have to be free to speak and also know how to hear the complaint when it reaches you without letting emotions come to the surface when it comes to hearing the truth. Outside, companies, big companies, they pay a lot of money to carry out consumer surveys, customer surveys. They want to know what customers complain about to improve their services and products. Because they use these complaints to better their services. In other words, they know that if they don't listen to their customers, they will lose their business. So for money, they listen. And sometimes they have to listen a lot of nonsense because you who deal with the public, that it's difficult to please the public. Yes or no? But companies know that. We need to listen and we need to consider what people say. Yes, this is true. So let's take on the feedback and improve our company. They do this outside. So an intelligent husband, an intelligent wife, wants their partner's feedback. They want to hear, come here, okay, what is happening? Is there anything that's bad, that's not nice between us? And listens. And it's hard to hear the things. No one likes to hear this. No one wants to hear complaints. But instead of you reacting with sadness, with anger, take that information, compare the information to reality, understand what the other person is saying, why this is bad for them. Maybe it's bad for you too, but it is for the other person. So through this intelligence, you change in order to eliminate that complaint that at times is small. It's a small complaint, but left untreated can turn into a big problem in the future. The husband who is absent from home due to working too much to pay the debts, to pay the bills, to provide comfort for his family is a problem now. is a relatively small problem. But if this is not dealt with, the wife will start feeling neglected, without attention, without care, and their intimate life will start to suffer. She will turn to social networks, and a huge number of problems can happen because of this issue that was not communicated and not dealt with. So, what should we do with complaints? The first thing you have to do is have the courage to speak about what is wrong, what is affecting the relationship, and speak as soon as possible, not allowing that problem to grow. Don't let that problem spill over to the next day so that it doesn't grow again in strength. If there's a little monster there and you should kill it quickly while it's small, don't let it grow because it's going to be more difficult. So there's a problem. Act fast. Don't let this problem grow between you. Have the courage to speak and the courage to listen. The courage to listen is a second point that is very important. It involves you separating facts from emotions. If you hear the complaint, look, you are never at home, you never pay attention to me, and you react emotionally with feelings in a way to say, can't you see that I'm working? I'm here killing myself to give you the best. If your concern is to defend yourself, you will not understand the complaint. What you have to do is control the urge to answer back. And instead of saying, don't you understand that I work? Instead, say something like this. My love, you understand we are trying to pay off our debts, to move to a better house, and maybe...
What do you suggest that we can do?
What can we do? What can I change? What can I do so that my absence doesn't affect you so much? Be smart. Let's be proactive. Let's come up with a solution. There is no magic that can take the problem disappear, but there's always something that can be done to minimize that problem. This is intelligence, to put emotions to one side and focus on the facts. This is very, very important. To have the courage to speak, the courage to listen, not to mix in emotions, and reach an agreement. What can we do about this? You might be able to resolve things in 10 minutes, 15 minutes. You can solve a problem that could drag on for years and end your marriage. Let's learn to communicate and listen to problems.
Did you know that over 50% of couples who get divorced regret not trying harder to save their marriage? No one gets married to later get a divorce, but sometimes it seems like there's no other option. Wait, you haven't tried everything. Bulletproof Marriage has already helped millions of couples all around the world to avoid separation. Even if one party isn't willing to change, or the relationship seems like a lost cause, give yourself this opportunity. Read this amazing book and shield your marriage against divorce. Buy the book on Amazon.com today.
Does your love life need a little boost? An upgrade? A complete overhaul? Worry not. We've got the right treatment just for you. It's the Love Therapy course. Live stream from Houston, Texas every Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Time with Dave and Evelyn Higginbotham, teaching practical advice for both married couples and for singles to deal with the day-to-day ins and outs of romance and relationship issues.
If we make a mistake, it's not a problem to make a mistake, but if we make a mistake and we don't learn from it, that is a serious problem.
American culture is, follow your heart.
Yeah.
What does your heart tell you? Don't let anybody stop you. If you love this person, don't let them stop you. Go for this dream that you have. That's almost elevated as this noble thing.
Watch the Love Therapy live every Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Time on the Living Faith Network website, or scroll through the archives of past Love Therapy sessions on ulfn.org. For more information, comments, or questions, call 888-332-4141. or text 888-312-4141.
Imagine waking up one day to find that you married the wrong person, or that you lost your true love because you ruined your relationship, or that you'd missed it when that special person came into your life. For those who don't want to spend the rest of their lives regretting a bad decision, Bulletproof Dating is a must-read, no matter what stage of singleness you're in. Whether you're alone, waiting, dating, picking up the pieces of your broken heart, divorced, or widowed, this book will help you navigate the complicated world of modern relationships. Years of experience have given Renato and Cristiane authority to say that most divorces start during the dating phase. Bulletproof Dating is a manual for all ages and will open your eyes and show you practical actions you can take. It's time to learn intelligent love. Ebook available on Amazon.com and other online retailers.